Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's time to kick off our final week of movies that star professional wrestlers, Hall of Famers. And we're going to start off the week with the film that stars the 2019 WWE Hall of Famer, inducted as a member of Degeneration X, Paul Triple H Levesque, in The Chaperone, starring alongside Ariel Winter, Yeardley Smith, Kevin Corrigan, Kevin Rankin, Annabeth Gish, and Jose Zuniga. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, today we kick off our final week of movies that star WWE Hall of Famers. And today's stars the 2019 WWE Hall of Famer Triple H, inducted as a member of Degeneration X, in The Chaperone. And as our movie opens, we meet Raymond Bradstone, who is about to get released from prison. Upon his release, Ray is met by Philip LaRue, an old acquaintance of Ray's. Ray then proceeds to steal LaRue's car on his way to try and begin his new life. The next day, Ray goes to pay a visit to his ex-wife Lynn and his daughter Sally. Now, Lynn wants nothing to do with Ray, and Sally completely runs away from him after realizing that is her father. However, Ray does not give up. He goes to Sally's school the following day, trying desperately to give him a chance. At the school, Ray meets Miss Miller, one of Sally's teachers, who tells him about an upcoming field trip that is short a chaperone. Sally then tells Ray that if he goes on the field trip, she won't. That night, LaRue pays Ray a visit and tries to get him to join his crew for a bank robbery. We then discover that Ray did 7 years in prison as a result of LaRue and a botched robbery for which Ray was supposed to be the getaway driver. Over the next few days, Ray attempts to find employment with very little luck due to his recent incarceration. Upon returning to his apartment, Ray discovers that it is on fire. So Ray tracks down LaRue, stating that he wants in on the bank robbery. While waiting in the car on the day of the robbery, Ray has a sudden change of heart and bails in order to try and join the field trip, which is about to depart. When LaRue, Goldie, and Dell get to the getaway car, they discover that Ray has disappeared. So Dell takes the bag of money and runs off in an effort to get away, and he accidentally drops the bag in the mix of all the student luggage for the field trip. Ray goes on the bus and takes control of the situation, asserting himself to the students and quieting down the junior high kids on the trip. Upon the students' arrival at the museum in New Orleans, Ray takes over as the tour guide due to short staffing, and he begins to impress Miss Miller, Sally, and the rest of the kids. Unfortunately, LaRue and Goldie show up at the museum as well, attempting to reclaim the stolen money. When Ray attempts to return the money to LaRue, a couple of cops roll up, leading LaRue to believe that Ray is trying to set him up. When the bus arrives at the hotel for the next day, Ray is able to try and reconnect with Sally. They go to a record store and to lunch, and they have a great time with each other. However, the police track the bus down and alert Miss Miller to the possibility that Ray was involved with the robbery, which puts her into a panicked state as there's a potential convict amongst all of her kids. Sally then sees the report on the television and once again doubts her father. Ray tries to tell her what happened, and he's able to convince her to help him. LaRue and Goldie then kidnap Sally as a backup plan to try to get the money. Ray goes in order to make an exchange for Sally, but it ends up being the wrong bag. Sally then grabs a few kids from her class and they head out in order to try and rescue Ray by tracking his iPhone. Meanwhile, LaRue is roughing Ray up in an attempt to try to find the actual bag. Sally and her friends arrive in time to save Ray, and they bring LaRue and Goldie the actual bag of money. However, part of the rescue gets broadcast over the radio, allowing Ray to clear his name of any wrongdoing. A short time later, we see Ray getting ready for his first day of his brand new job. Sally helps him to get repaired, and even Lynn shows up to show her support. During Ray's first night as a radio talk show host, as a result of the broadcast, LaRue calls in, attempting to seek advice from Ray on how to deal with prison, and our movie comes to its close. This was a fun movie. I've seen The Chaperone a couple times, going all the way back to when it first came out. I want to say 2009, 2010. But it's a fun, cute family comedy. You know, it's a story that's been done over where the con parent is trying to, you know, get the family back in his good graces, let them know that he's changed. It's very similar to the first Ant-Man movie, if you really want to get technical, you know, where Scott Lang is coming home. His ex-wife is now remarried. In this case, she's dating. Lynn has got a boyfriend. And Ray, Scott, try to prove that they're not those people that got sent to jail. And eventually, come the end of the movie, they win them back. They win their trust. You know, Triple H definitely brings a certain charm to the role as the big, burly, tough guy with a heart of gold. But at the same time, you can kind of see why Triple H didn't have a bigger career in the vein that Cena and Batista did. He's good, but he's not Hollywood marketable. He's good for those couple of movies here and there. You know, he was in Blade Trinity. He was in this, and he may have done one other one if I'm remembering correctly. But he just didn't have that Hollywood staying power that Austin, Rock, Cena, Batista, Piper, Hogan, any of those names did. Much in the same vein as Trish Stratus when we talked about Bounty Hunters last week. You know, it was good. I enjoyed it. But it just didn't have the it factor to keep them around Hollywood. I thought Ariel Winter did a great job. This was really kind of a transition period for her. You know, she was doing Modern Family and she hadn't quite matured into the young woman that she is today, now some 13 years later. I thought Yeardley Smith did an amazing job. I know Yeardley Smith. You know Yeardley Smith as the voice of Lisa Simpson, probably best known. Doing that voice for, God, 25 years? Maybe longer now, if you count the stuff on Tracy Ullman. You know, it's 35 years. Excuse me. Wow. Just had that happen to me. Yeah. 35 years. maybe longer if you count the stuff on Tracy Ullman. Yeardley Smith is one of those people you hear talk and you immediately know that's Lisa Simpson because she just uses her voice for Lisa. She doesn't alter it or anything. But I think Triple H did a good job. And then Ariel and Yeardley both added great comedy and heart to the cast. When it comes to my rating for this film, I give The Chaperone 4 stars. And I know some people may find that a little bit high, but I do enjoy this. I have seen this movie now. God, this got to be the 4th time, maybe the 5th, somewhere between 3 and 5 times. I've seen The Chaperone, and I've watched it before without needing to review it because it's just a fun family movie. What do you guys think of The Chaperone and specifically Triple H's performance in it? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel, as we open the doors to a very special broadcast of Dory Lou's Sports Bar. That's right. Unfortunately, Statboy has to work tomorrow, so Dory Lou is taking the reins, and she is doing things her way as we present to you Dory Lou's Sports Bar at a very special time, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. The food is still hot, the beer is still ice cold, and the seats are still warm. So step into the sports bar, pull up a seat, and engage in some conversation about professional sports and the XFL with your barkeep, Dory Lou. And the reason that is happening at a special time is because immediately following that, the women of the multiverse of media will preview and predict WrestleMania. That's going to begin at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, here on the Casa channel, and I believe across the entire multiverse of media. The simple man with the spectacular voice, Noah Foster, will be your host and moderator as he welcomes Dory Lou, Cece, and Natalie, and possibly one or two others that I am not currently aware of, to the panel to predict WrestleMania. And then the next time I will be here talking movies with you will be on Wednesday when I bring you another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews and we discuss Wrong Side of Town, starring the 2021 WWE Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam, alongside Laura Grice, Edric Brown, Ava Santana, Dave Batista, Jerry Katz, Ja Rule, Stormy Daniels, Nelson Frazier Jr., better known as Viscera, Omarion, and Brooke Frost. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the multiverse of media. Dory Lou's Sports Bar. The women of the multiverse of media preview and predict WrestleMania. And then Rob Van Dam, starring in Wrong Side of Town. Now, I want to make sure and reiterate here before we get into that review. This is Rob Van Dam's movie. I know the promotional materials, the posters, everything put Batista front and center. He is in like 4 scenes of the movie. And yes, he was announced as a part of the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame class, and we do acknowledge that. But as of this date right now, as this episode is airing, he has not been officially inducted into the Hall of Fame yet. So I am not counting him as a WWE Hall of Famer. Not until he goes up on that stage, is inducted, gives his speech, and receives his ring. Then he will become a Hall of Famer. This is Rob Van Dam's movie, though, and it's pushed like it's Batista's, which is a shame We'll get more into that on Wednesday, though. So make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, or in this case, Dory Lou Sports Bar, as we do with Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE coverage, as we will be doing when the women predict and preview WrestleMania. You don't want to miss any of that. Make sure you share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Triple H, fans of Ariel Winter, fans of Yeardley Smith, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content, this video. Share it with them. It's the only way we're going to keep my visibility in YouTube's algorithms now that the Casa D18 Studios channel is a monetized platform. Thank you once again to everyone out there in YouTube land that helped me get there. It means so much more to me than you'll ever know. I will see you guys next time.